Hello, Natasha Davis from Because You Can. Got a little bit of a cold today, but thought I'd make you this video. So I've been posting some stuff around anxiety lately, and I have worked for many years with anxiety, so I wanted to do a little anxiety video for you, because people this is for the people who know that they can do something about their anxiety, but maybe getting a little stuck around how or what it is that they can do. So, made this little board, and we're going to look at the thing about anxiety is that quite often when you're in it, you can't see what's going on. So the first step, I would say, would be to take a step back and to have a look at it. So have a look at what's going on. So number one, we have write down your thoughts. So you can get something, just a table where you can kind of write down your thoughts, maybe get a table in Word or make some notes on your phone or get a journal. Write down the thoughts that you have regularly around your anxiety. Because what you do then is you gain awareness, you can see what's going on, and you can change them. So you can see that some of them are limiting beliefs, some of them are story, some of them aren't true. So it's getting to grips with what it is that you think around anxiety, because anxiety comes from thought. It's created from thought. Thoughts affect how we feel, they affect how we behave. It all comes from thought. So that's number one. Write down your thoughts. And then we've got number two, identify your perceived threat. Because anxiety is perfectly normal. Everybody has it. Everybody has the ability to get anxious. It's all about threat. So if I'm walking down the street and I'm in danger of something, if a car comes towards me, I will get an anxious response. It's perfectly normal because I'm in danger. My body will gear up to run away from it, to move out of the way, to brace myself, all of these things that I need to do to save myself from the threat. So it's a perfectly normal thing. Your body does certain things in that process. So identify your perceived threat. The thing about anxiety when it becomes a problem is that people have a perceived threat that something is going to happen and they're not actually in danger in the situation. So it's not like in a situation where you're really in danger. If I was walked out of the house and a tiger walked up to me, then I would be in danger. There is a threat in the environment that I need to do something about. But with anxiety, when it becomes a problem, people have a perceived threat. So they create a threat in thought. It may be for many people that other people are going to see that you are anxious, that you're going to look silly, that some people have think about they're going to maybe be physically sick. There's all sorts of things, could be fainting, all sorts of things that, it's usually around fear of something bad happening. So we want to identify what the perceived threat is. And we're going to look at the worst case scenario. So what is the worst case scenario? What's the worst possible thing that could happen in that situation? So what we do then is we can pull that out and find out what is the thing that we are fearing the most. Okay, so fear again comes from thought. Thought is created by us. By taking a step back, pulling out the perceived threat, we get to see it. Because normally if you don't do that, you're just going to be reacting to it and not really knowing what it is or why you're doing it. So yeah, worst possible scenario. Then we're gonna ask ourselves, has it happened yet? Now, some of you might say, yes, it has. It happened 2 years ago, 6 months ago, 3 years ago, whenever. So we're going to look at if it's happened in the past, how long ago. So if it happened 6 months ago, what can happen is people fear that happening again, which creates anxiety, which kind of is a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Even if it doesn't happen again, we get the fear about it happening again, we get, in that situation, we get all the physical responses, we get the behaviours are different because we're getting all of this stuff. So it's, how long ago did it happen? And if it happened 6 months ago, or 2 years ago, or 2 weeks ago, whatever, how do you know it's going to happen again now? And really you don't, okay? But if we focus on the past, yeah, or if we focus on the future of it happening again in the future, so we're pulling the past and saying it happened back then, it's going to happen again in the future, we're not being present. And being present is really helpful. So pulling all of these out is going to help you to be more present. It's going to help you to understand what's going on. So we can logically look at how long ago it happened, and how do we know, if it happened 6 months ago, 12 months ago, how do we know it's going to happen again? We don't. We can't possibly know it's going to happen again. So knowing all of this and pulling all this out is about focusing on being present in the moment in that situation. So the next part is to expand your comfort zone. So you will know about, when you do this, you can notice where your comfort zone is. Maybe you don't like to go into groups. Maybe you get anxious when you have interviews. Maybe, you get anxious in certain situations, or you think your thoughts are around people thinking about you a particular way. We can get anxious about posting on social media. We can create fear around that. We can get anxious about a job application, or an interview, or a position that you're applying for. We can get anxious about entrepreneurship. We can get anxious about all sorts of things. But it's always in thought. It's always about a perceived threat. It's useful to ask, has it happened yet? Because usually we are pulling the past and saying it's going to happen again in the future, but we don't know because we can't read the future, and we're not being present. And then expanding your comfort zone is around, where am I comfortable? I'm comfortable in these situations. When I go into another situation which is just outside of my comfort zone, it's normal to get a little bit anxious when you go outside your comfort zone. So it's useful to know that. If you have to speak in public, that might take you outside of your comfort zone. You might feel anxious. Again, you can pay attention to the thoughts that you have. You can kind of pull them apart and ask yourself, has it happened yet? You can think about the perceived threat and all of that. You can also look at what you would like to happen instead. So when we've done this is like the first part really. And then when we've done this, we would visualize what we would like to happen. Instead, we would be focusing on being present with what's actually happening in the situation. But we can expand our comfort zone by edging out. So if you don't like to, say for example someone didn't like to be in groups, then they would edge out of that by being in small groups. Perhaps being in small groups. When you know the thinking isn't real, when you know the perceived threat isn't real, when you realise that it might have happened 6 months ago, but who's to say it's going to happen now, and actually if I be present, I can expand my comfort zone easier and without any of this anxiety stuff going on, by being present and just being curious and edging outside of that. Then what people usually do at that stage is, because what I do is I go through this with people sometimes and I encourage them to expand the comfort zone. And once we've looked at the part that the thinking isn't real and that it's about the perceived threat, and looked at logically, when is the last time it happened, then expanding your comfort zone, they feel able to expand their comfort zone then. And when they start to do that, what usually happens is they prove themselves wrong. So they will say, well, something happened 6 months, 12 months ago, but I've been avoiding the situations ever since, just in case it happens again. I've been focusing on it happening again. I've been having thoughts about it happening again, and you create a lot of fear there, and you never go into those situations. So avoidance keeps anxiety going. So what you're doing, your behaviours aren't helping. So when they edge out and they actually go and test it, in a sense, when they go forwards and they test it, what they usually realise is that the bad thing, the worst case scenario that they thought was going to happen, didn't actually happen. And that's when you get the moment of, oh, well, that didn't actually happen. And then sometimes what you have to be careful of then is that sometimes some people go, I've wasted all this time thinking this would happen, and it didn't happen. And they focus on that then. So you have to keep moving forwards. But if you can write down your thoughts, identify your perceived threat, and that's the worst case scenario. Ask, has it happened yet? Look at how long ago it happened. Expand your comfort zone. So if you can have the faith to just move forwards a little bit and expand your comfort zone after you've done all of that, then you will prove yourself wrong. Okay? Now, when I say expand your comfort zone, I mean, there's lots of ways you can do it, you know. You can just go, once you know the thinking isn't real, once you get that bit right, you can kind of go forwards a lot quicker, into expanding your comfort zone. It's letting go of all the thinking stuff. It's like what I do, is I let go of all the thinking stuff, and I just go forwards and stay open to the possibilities about what might happen, stay present about what might happen, but not hold on to any outcome about it. But once you get that right, and you expand your comfort zone, now you can expand your comfort zone as quickly or as slowly as you feel fit. Okay, so this is the bit where you are in control, really, of it. You can expand it. You can go into your comfort zone, outside your comfort zone a little bit. You can go outside your comfort zone a lot. It's about what you feel comfortable doing. But what I would say is that if you're comfortable doing it, then probably you want to be a little bit uncomfortable about it, but present. So if you're comfortable doing it, it's not really expanding your comfort zone. You need to be a little bit uncomfortable about it. So it needs to feel a little bit scary. But remember that the fear is created in thought, and the thought isn't real, and we can only be present in the moment and deal with whatever happens there. We can visualize how we would like it to be. We can focus on, the other thing is that lots of people with anxiety focus on not being anxious, not having an anxiety attack, not having a panic attack, and then they, because of where their focus is, they tend to see more of that stuff. So they'll notice when they're breathing more, they'll notice when they're shaking more, they'll notice when they start to sweat, they'll notice all these things, they'll notice their words when they get a bit tongue-tied. So what we want to be focusing on is, what do you want instead? So when you go into that situation that you've been avoiding, what would you like to happen? What would be ideal for you? Maybe you want to stay present and stay open. Maybe you want to focus on calm and peacefulness. Maybe you want to kind of focus on, the other thing is we can shift our focus from ourselves. So most of the time we might go into a situation, if we're anxious, focusing on you, focusing on yourself, focusing on what you look like, what you sound like, what people are going to think of you. And actually, if we shift our focus to helping other people, that really helps. So if you go into a situation and you shift your focus, I don't know, say you don't want to go to, say I have anxiety about libraries. I don't want to go to libraries. I have this fear about libraries ever since I went into a library and I had one of these, like, I got a cold, so had one of these, like, tickly cough fits where I couldn't, you know, the ones you get in a library, where I couldn't stop coughing, and I had this little tickle, and it was really loud, and people looked at me, and I wondered what they thought of me. So I avoid libraries now, but, like, maybe the library that I went into I'll avoid, but then in the end I'll avoid all libraries, because that's how anxiety works too, it generalises. So, yeah, if libraries is my thing, then I would write down my thoughts about libraries, yeah? Because most people who have anxiety, they kind of say, I know it's stupid, but, I know it's silly, but, because logically they know it doesn't make sense. Identify my perceived threat that I'm going to have a coughing fit in the library. Has it happened yet? Well, it did 6 months ago. How long ago? 6 months ago. How do I know it's going to happen again? Well, I don't really. Maybe I can just, you know, go and see. So I might expand my comfort zone by going to visit a library just for 10 minutes or half an hour. I might just want to make myself stay in there for a whole hour and see what happens. It depends what I feel like, what I feel able to do, but I want to feel a little bit uncomfortable, and then prove myself wrong that actually it didn't happen. And then the other thing was, lost my train of thought now. Yeah, prove myself wrong. Oh yes, that's it. I could take a friend, because a friend really wants to go to the library. I could take my children, they really want to go to the library, and I can focus on, I'm there for them. I'm not even there for me. I'm not even there, I'm not even going to think about me. I'm not even going to think about anything about me. I'm going to make sure that they have a good time. I'm going to teach them to read. I'm going to let them choose a book, and we're going to have some fun. That is shifting my perspective from me to someone else to get through this bit, to expand my comfort zone. And what happens is that makes it a whole lot easier. Once we get to the point of proving ourselves wrong, and we go, well, actually that didn't happen, and when I was in that library I didn't have a coughing fit, and yes, being present helped, and yes, you know, focusing on someone else helped, and, you know, knowing my thoughts before, knowing my perceived threat, and looking at it, and all that helped. Expanding my comfort zone helped. But what else is possible? What else is possible? What else am I not doing because of thought that's created and isn't real? What else am I not doing because I don't want to expand my comfort zone, and I'm holding on to certainty, and I don't like to feel uncomfortable? But if I do feel uncomfortable, I'm going to learn how to do new things. What else am I not doing because I have some perceived threat about something happening that actually isn't true? What else can I prove wrong? Yeah, that bit gets a little bit addictive. So that bit gets a little bit like, what else is possible? What else is possible? And it's that kind of mindset that, you know, I recently, when I became a HuffPost blogger, I got shortlisted for an award. That's the kind of mindset that gets those things coming in. Is, you know, what else is possible? Why not? Yesterday, put an application in for another award, and then just forgot about let go. So it's, your thinking will get in the way of you doing things, of you achieving things, of you becoming who you are. And it's not real. None of it is real. So it's important, whether you have anxiety or whether you just hold yourself back in any way. You know, you can use this for that too. You know, if you're holding yourself back, you can do the same process. Yeah. So have a go with that. Just you need to write a few things down. You need a pen and a piece of paper. You need maybe you know, make yourself a little sheet, like a, I don't know, a thought sheet, a threat sheet. You can do a comfort zone sheet. I made some sheets yesterday where I said accountabilities on them, and then I said, you know, how often or consistency of something happening. So Like an accountability might be me making this video. The consistency would be I want to make a video every day. And then when do I want to do that by? Well, I might want to do it for 30 days. That's my sheet. Accountabilities, consistencies, date to be completed by. That's it. If you expanded your comfort zone for 30 days, or 7 days, or 10 days, if you did something that scares you a little bit every day for a certain period of time, it's good to look at the thoughts first and pull them out. It's good to be present. It's good to question your thinking and work out it's not even real. But if you did that for a certain amount of time, you would grow as a person. Yeah, you would be able to do so much more. You know, if I focus on learning something new every day for 30 days, every day for 10 days, wherever it is, then magic happens. So, that's it for today. We've done 21 minutes on this. It's quite a long video. But that's it for today, and I'm going to leave this up for you so you can see it. There, and we will catch up again soon when I do another video. So have a lovely day, and I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you. Bye.